In a town where the air smelled of fresh cut pine, lived a carpenter named David. His hands were skilled and his work was admired by all. But David held a secret belief, a rule he lived by. To be strong, I must do everything myself. This was his alone mentality, a heavy burden he carried with a proud smile. The mayor asked David to build a grand new library, a place for stories and dreams. It was an honor, a project bigger than any he had ever faced. I will build it alone, David declared, his voice full of determination. He drew up the plans, ordered the wood, and set to work. His workshop echoed with the sound of one man's labor. His friend, a master stonemason named Elena, came to visit. David, she said, her voice gentle, the foundation of a library must be strong. Let me help you lay the stone. David, proud and stubborn, shook his head. Thank you, Elena, but this is my work to do. I must prove I can do it alone. The days grew shorter and the nights grew longer. David worked tirelessly, but the library walls were crooked and the shelves were uneven. He was tired and his heart was heavy with the weight of his alone mentality. The town people would pass by, their faces filled with worry for their new library. A young boy named Leo, who loved to read, peeked into the construction site. Mr. David, he asked quietly, if you build the library all by yourself, who will you share the first story with? Leo's simple question was like a key, unlocking a door in David's mind. Share the first story? He had been so focused on the building, he had forgotten about the stories that would fill it. He looked at his calloused hands and the leaning walls, and finally he saw his alone mentality for what it was, a lonely, empty room. Next morning, David walked into Elena's stone yard. The air was filled with rhythmic chip, chip, chip of a hammer and the chisel. Elena, he said, his voice filled with a newfound humility, I was wrong. I cannot do this alone. Will you help me build our library? Elena's smile was as bright as the morning sun. Of course, David, she said. Soon the whole town joined in. The baker brought fresh bread and pastries. The seamstress mended their torn clothes, and the children helped to sand the wooden shelves. The sound of laughter and teamwork filled the air. The library was a masterpiece. Its walls were strong and true, and its shelves were filled with books, and its windows let in the warm golden sunlight. On the opening day, the entire town gathered to celebrate, their faces filled with joy and pride. David, standing with Elena and Leo, felt a new kind of strength, a strength that came from not doing things alone, but from doing things together. He learned that asking for help is not a weakness, but a bridge that connects us to each other, allowing us to build things more beautiful than we could ever imagine on our own. What about you? Have you ever discovered the strength in asking for help? Give your comments. Please remember to like, share and subscribe. See you in another video tomorrow. Bye-bye.